Hey everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you so much for joining me here. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Quick look again here at Solana, holding pretty strong in this range of 165 to 170. We actually got some good news here too as well, folks. Bitcoin dominance is pulling back, hitting that resistance range at about 54.6%. We talked about that yesterday on my shorts. I sent some shorts kind of identifying that range for Bitcoin, at least Bitcoin dominance, and generally that's a favorable sign. I'm not expecting, or I would it'd be best for you not to expect altcoins just to surge, but it is important to recognize that stronger coins like this will be more likely to respond positively to this situation here. Keep in mind, Bitcoin is on the edge of disaster right there at 67,000. That's a key level support for us. We lose that, it might be a different story altogether. But we saw a nice little liquidity sweep here of the lower liquidation levels for Bitcoin at about 66,000. So it's important to kind of recognize that, low 67, upper 66,000 range. So it's important to recognize that majority of the heavy liquidation has been liquidated. So again, I would say that we're not completely out of the woods as per usual, but I would also kind of further that with we have a strong probability of being okay at this point. Okay. Again, a lot of reasons why I think we're okay, and that CME gap, even most of all too. If you guys hadn't kind of been familiar with that, this just got filled here as well. That's a positive sign. Generally speaking, the price will respond to that and reverse itself. And it's not a guarantee that it reverses itself, but the key here is that it doesn't have a need to go much lower because again, the greed has been satisfied, if that makes any sense. All right, so that's all relevant. I know you're like, what the heck? This is a Solana analysis. What's Bitcoin have to do with it? Well, if you don't know by now, they happen to be contingent upon one another and very reliant on the other too. So take a look here. We do still got some lower liquidation for Solana. Again, I've mentioned previously 160, that low 160 range is a possibility of liquidation. So Bitcoin pulls back to 66K. We will see 160 from Solana. That seems sensible, okay? However, we are starting to double bottom out here, so to speak. We may not see that liquidation level sweep, but we're right there on the edge, so it would make sense to presume it's going to happen, okay? Having said that though, minus 160 to 163, we have the secondary or more so primary most amount of liquidation at 175, the late shorts here essentially in profit, okay? That's kind of where we're at there for Solana, the bumper sticker version. So if we take a look at the details though, because the devil's in the details as they say, let's look at the hourly and daily, work our way down to the hourly. We can recognize here that we're still honoring our ascending trend line. And you're probably thinking to yourself, wait a minute, I just saw a smaller time frame. We're not. We broke below that. Folks, macro trend lines are much more important. And while this isn't exact, obviously it's not touching every exact thing. And a lot of times trend lines will be broken and reversed. They're not exact. The key here, though, is that we understand we're testing the 20 SMA. That's the important thing to know. Staying above that would be advantageous. Losing that just implies that we might have further continuation of the downside because that is a good estimate to kind of gauge where we're at in the overall sense of things. Now, if we do gauge where we're at here, I'm zooming out here, of course, giving you perspective on like the point of control for the macro. This is last, since February as a rough estimate, maybe 2.5 to 3 months. We can see 147 as that common denominator. That's that normal standard support range that everybody feels comfortable in, or we have the most amount of average position purchase at that level, if you will, or the amount of volume is all right there. That's what it means. May not be purchasing, but it is volume right there. So having said all that, we can see stochastic is swinging down, MACD is diverging. We've known this for a little while. Stochastic is swinging down too, but if you've noticed, Solana, when it does tend to come down on stochastic RSI, it usually tends to recover quite nicely. So my anticipation here is that Solana will recover fairly soon now that stochastic is getting much lower. But we are over 50 in the RSI too, which is amazing to me after all this. So again, Bitcoin is also at that level too, testing that 50-day, the RSI 50 on the daily. And then we can see money flow index pulling back here for Solana. So while this isn't like amazing, this is not terrible either. The thing we do want to see improve is this amount of volume. We've seen a tapered amount of volume, less volume in the last couple of weeks than prior. But again, obviously there's more volume when there's a lower price, right? People are more excited to buy. They can afford it more because the average price is lower. So it just makes sense. But right now, I would not say this is a terrible situation for Solana. Performing a lot better than most. All right, having said all that, we're under 3 out of the 4 moving averages, not great, but the good news here is the 200-day SMA is working itself up to that the upper 150 range, that $157 mark. That's basically the support range, the support channel that we have. Now we are range bound still within 162 upwards of a roughly 171. We've known that for a few days. I've been talking about that. But the overall support channel here, again, it goes as low as about 157.50, mainly because there's some previous support or previous resistances turned support. Okay. All that having been said, we're under 50 on the RSI on the 4-hour. That's generally not favorable. We're having difficulty crossing that resistance level, which we can see obviously is at 171 range. We've wicked up to there multiple times and still have yet to break it. We can also see here that MACD is diverging. So generally speaking, this is not like a favorable conditions for the 4-hour time frame. But again, it's optimal in the sense of a lot of other things that I just discussed with you to preface the video. Those things are present. We need to recognize that there's a lot of positive contributing factors. Bitcoin dropping its bottom right now doesn't make a ton of sense to me. And in turn, we should be able to see this recover here. We can see a decent amount of volume increasing as the price comes lower, more buying pressure as the price comes down. This hammer type of candle here, which is soon to close here in about 5 minutes. If we take a look at Ichimoku Cloud, we're going to confirm with this being range-bound activity, it's a bit of a mess. We have momentum to the downside. We're under the cloud. This is not a favorable condition to take a long. However, we've been range-bound for some time. We're stuck in a range. It's not the worst thing ever to consider buying this low level and selling closer to 170. Again, depending on the type of trader that you are. Me personally, I'd much rather take a long position with this coin and you let it hit in a couple of days, a couple of weeks. All right, I know it sounds crazy, but I don't mind securing profit later. So my swing trades are designed to be held for longer periods. In turn, we don't have the confirming factors to take a trade like that right now. But if you are a day trader per se and you're planning to hold and just kind of get in and get out, there's a solid chance we will see the price start trending towards that 170 mark, just based on how well we've remained in this general range here. Okay. So those are all things to hopefully empower you to make an informed decision. But the truth is the market is, trash. I hate saying it because I like to be a positive person, that's just my disposition. But I can tell you that when it comes to situations and scenarios like this, the Bitcoin has been one heck of a pain in the ass lately. It's the best way to describe it. And a lot of altcoins are just kind of belly flopping for no reason. But once again, Bitcoin dominance is pulling back. I think it's important to recognize that this is a good shift in momentum. We could very well see a green weekend because of this. Bitcoin just needs to stabilize it at 67,000, which it looks like it's wanting to do. Look at all that buying pressure at that low level. That is extremely important. So I like what I see here so far. It's not phenomenal, but hey, we swept that liquidity. We filled the CME gap. We should be good to go. Thanks again so much for watching, folks. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Don't forget to like the video, comment below. Join me over on Twitter if you haven't already. Trying to build that up, of course. And we just started a new TikTok, and I have YouTube Shorts as well. So just some things to kind of keep you abreast in case you didn't know. That's all linked down below if you're curious. And if you do, again, want to become a better trader, CryptoCache.tech is a site linked down below. Got a lot of new members coming over yesterday. I would just recommend if you watch my videos, make sure you read through my signals guide so you understand how the signals work, because the day trades perform a lot differently than the swing trades. I have a signals guide here that kind of describes everything that you need to know. That's pretty much it. Feel free to reach out. Don't be a stranger. We'll look forward to talking to you soon. Have a good rest of your day. Thank you so much.